Views expressed on this program are those of the commenters alone. They do not represent the views or opinions of Valley News Live, our parent company, or our advertisers.
With me live in studio, she's been a daycare provider for 17 years, Terrie Boyd from Terrie's Tots Daycare. First of all, thanks for making the drive over from Detroit Lakes. Appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thank you.
You just heard my opening segment about more power, more money for unions, for Democrats. Am I wrong? What am I missing?
I would have to say I don't believe that you're wrong at all. It does appear to me to be much more power as they raise the taxes and then they lower the abilities for the local areas to be able to govern themselves. We're starting to get into some sticky issues, and then having been down at the legislature at the Capitol this past weekend and seeing some of the things going on down there, no, you're absolutely right. It is more power.
And I'm not here to say, hey, Chris, great job, you get it. What I really want to get to, and I think what's most important, because the pitch that kept coming out of St. Paul is, you're doing this for the kids. So let me know, you've been doing this for 17 years, you've got a full daycare. How is unionization ultimately, good or bad, going to impact the kids?
It is not going to impact them well.
Because of?
Because it's going to end up raising the rates. They're going to be causing union dues, which what they're saying they're going to do is they're going to bargain for higher rates at the state level for reimbursement to those providers that accept CCAP. Now, you already mentioned there's 12,000 providers in the state of Minnesota, licensed family child care providers. Of those licensed family child care providers, there's approximately 6,500 that accept CCAP. 6,500, that's just barely over half of the total number of providers. And then on top of that, they're also throwing in PCAs and unlicensed providers that accept CCAP. Those of us that are licensed are actual business owners, okay? Not employees, not workers, we're business owners. What's gonna happen though, Chris, is they're saying they're going to negotiate higher rates from the state, which the legislature has the right to be able to increase on their own. They don't need a union coming up underneath them and telling them they have to do this. They could if they wanted to, they chose not to. Instead, they'd rather have the union come in and do it, take union dues, and where does it go? What does it support?
But again, I want to ask you this, because I think this is what's fascinating about this conversation. Even out of St. Paul, there's very little, again, is spoken about, here's the true value to the kids. I asked you as a daycare provider, and right away you went into the politics of it. So again, where is the real impact? How is this going to help my 3-year-old daughter get better educated, be a better human being for society?
If they're going to negotiate with the state, they're going to get in it, and it's supposed to impact the kids in a positive manner in their educational processes, progresses, whatever, even in their health and safety, then what you're talking about there is you're talking about the regulatory side of the daycare laws. All industry is regulated in some manner.
But is that a bad thing? We had a situation in Moorhead where there was a pedophile father of there was a husband of someone that was running a daycare, and they didn't know about it, and so are more regulations for daycares bad?
How many providers take CCAP?
You just said about half.
How many providers are going to be affected by regulatory changes?
All of them.
Where's the rub? You've got a small group a small group that may end up causing the whole to be affected. That's not democracy.
Well, as a dad, if there's a way obviously to eliminate that, and I hear what you're saying, hey, you're not going to get rid of every bad apple, but obviously I don't want my daughter going where there's some pedophile living in this house. Let's move on to the parents for a moment, because you mentioned this. You said, hey, it's going to increase rates. How specifically?
The rates for child care assistance are set by the state. We're reimbursed. What happens is we take a family that is subsidized. The family is subsidized, not the provider. I currently accept that. I don't have a problem with helping someone up. I think it's a good thing. So I take them. My rates are slightly higher than what the CCAP is. Those families would have to pay the difference. If a union were to come into place and say they only charge $25 a month, that would be another $25 bill that I have to pay every month.
And then you just pass it on, obviously, to the
I
family.
pass it on to the families. Now, if you think it's going to remain at $25 a month, and then even if you choose not to join, it's fair share, which can be up to 85%.
But one thing to be frank about is I don't see daycare providers becoming wealthy. So the fact that you can go out there now and negotiate possibly better rates for yourself, and even though the rates might go up for the families, you know
what are my associations for?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. I have Minnesota Licensed Family Child Care Association. I have a great active local child care association in Becker County. We have national child care associations, and they are extremely active. There is absolutely no reason that they can't do the lobbying for me. As a matter of fact, they have. Minnesota Licensed Family Child Care has taken plenty of time going over some of the new proposed rules and working with them. We know what we're doing. We know the child care industry. We've been doing it for me only 17 years. I know some that have been doing it for a long time.
She started when she was 13, by the way, so. Terrie, stay with us because in our last segment, Terrie's going to take some of your feedback. So if you've got some comments, some questions, as always, you can text us, you can email us. And in just a moment, we're going to go out and talk to Robert Hahn about what you can do to support some displaced pets down in Oklahoma. As always, be sure and join our conversation. Go to our website, 630pov.com. We'll be right back.